Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Dungeons & Dragons: The Second Age. How are we all?
Great.
Hey. Yep.
So, without further ado, who would like to tell me the story of everything that happened last time?
I'm trying to remember.
There's only one thing that I remember very, very well, actually, there's a few things now that I think about it.
There are a couple of things.
I remember being flirted with by a historian person, or at least it was maybe flirting.
Yep.
We don't even know.
She
mean,
might have been trying to kill you.
I mean,
It's
yeah. Was it flirting? Was it attempted murder? We don't know. It's very suspicious.
Well,
Did we not settle on the vampire theory at one point? Or not settle on it, but
Well, we did theorize vampire at some point, but I think that was purely just because my ear was slightly bleeding after she
Yeah.
face planted into it by accident.
right.
fine.
or was it by accident?
So,
Bad, though. Like that's such a small Sorry.
to more coherently recap what it was,
We
Look,
can't
I don't know who
coherently
you think we
recap
are,
anything.
but do we ever do anything coherently?
We can't do anything. We can't do
Oh,
a
that's
So,
recap without Helena.
it basically began with you guys beginning an initiative to investigate the mysterious goings-on in Rourke's Gate. To do so, you basically got a job working for the Othell household as additional security. And after a couple of days of doing this sort of back and forth guard duty and escort and stuff, you had an encounter with somebody who seemed to have a handle on who the Amber Eagle were, and had some interesting conversations with Elizabeth.
Interesting conversation.
Wink,
we-
wink.
And
Wow.
following that, you guys went back to work the next morning to discover that despite the extensive security arrangements in the Othell household had been broken into and items taken. Namely an amulet that Elizabeth had showed interest in the previous day. Yes, a menacing note had been left, similar to the menacing notes that you have received. Our story resumes as you guys are basically gathering your thoughts in the downstairs servants' chamber in Othell Manor. So,
Oh yeah. So we're in the building. We just got told that it was stolen and that we had to go up and investigate.
well, you volunteered to go up and investigate.
Yeah.
Oof. Let's see.
I guess we should go investigate.
Wrote anything down of importance?
Okay, so under the watchful eye of the house master, you head upstairs to the room that functions as a private art gallery in the Othell house. As you sort of step inside, those of you who've been in the room before, everything looks exactly the same as it was the previous day, with the notable exception that the case that holds the amulet right in the corner of the room by the large open window, the case has been sort of left open.
So it looks like it was just open. Nothing was smashed. Nothing.
No, there's no immediate signs of damage to the case. and everything around you seems intact. In fact, casting a cursory glance around, all of the expensive paintings and art pieces are still here.
Interesting.
Well, we need. I think there's not much we know about the amulet, do we?
Oh.
We know it like did weird magicy things.
Well, technically, none of you know it because I didn't actually tell anyone.
Oh, okay.
I just sort of looked at it, and then went.
Right, so we don't even know that
mental
like anything about it at this
No,
point.
you guys don't know anything about it.
Should we see if there's some sort of magic around here?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, can I please cast detect magic
You can certainly do that. Are you casting it with a spell slot, or are you ritual casting it?
with a spell slot?
Casting it with a spell slot. Okay.
Yeah, just so it doesn't take 10 fucking minutes.
Oh, okay. Roll20 has decided to refresh, so let's do a quick refresh. So, you go ahead and enable the aura of Detect Magic. From what you experienced previously, everything seems to sort of be in a similar sort of case to the way you found it yesterday. With the exception that the abjuration spell that was present on the case is no longer present.
Yeah.
As you cast your gaze around, give me I guess this would be a perception check.
Cool. Oops.
Okay.
Wow, that's awful.
So, even with that awful perception check,
Oh, nice.
you look around the room, it's like casting your eyes for anything out of the ordinary, and then something out of the ordinary catches your eye, and you turn around to face the back wall of the art gallery opposite the window. And something strange greets you. And I will whisper you what you see.
Okay.
Gasp.
I guess one thing as well Elizabeth would have said, like, as she casts this, is, like, she'd say to the person who came in with us, like, could you do me a quick favor and tell me everything in this room that should be magical? Just so I know what's normal and what's not.
The housemaster just sort of like says, I don't really know in terms of precise magical protections, but there are a number of wards and other effects placed on this room.
Okay, Elizabeth's eyes suddenly just go really wide.
Okay. Elizabeth is now facing the back wall and is just like wide-eyed.
That's not good. What's up?
Then she probably turns to Kelariis, and she just says, I think our friend's been back.
What do you mean?
Oh, great.
There's some magical writing on the wall here. It just says, the second of many.
God damn it.
Oh.
The housemaster just sort of like looks at you concerned and sort of says, define friend.
Friend is meant
Friend
to
who sent
way.
one of our members a death threat and tried to kill her? You know, that kind of friend.
Dice roll.
I know the dice rolls like
Insight check.
I
Yeah.
figured
Oh,
it was
totally
probably an
fair.
inside check.
Yeah. It's like, I know it sounds really silly, but we got a weirdly worded death threat, and then an assassin showed up who had a note that just said the first of many. So this is
He
bit
like
suspicious in that regard.
looks very concerned and sort of says, I think, knowing now that there are assassins involved in this. I think perhaps that might have been pertinent to know previously.
This is
To be fair, it's not exactly that we knew there were going to be the same assassins or similar creatures sent in this sort of area. I figured that was specific for me.
Yes, and it's a very personal vendetta.
Yeah, whoever's sending these, like, the last assassin did a very good job of completely avoiding everybody else.
The thing is, I wonder how personal or how widespread of a sort of personal vendetta this is, considering this seems to be happening here, against people that we've not really ever met before. Well, for the most part.
Well, we did follow them here, kind of.
But this was happening before. If we assume that this is related to the other things that were happening,
That's true. We don't know that this is connected to the other thefts and things. This could be just because they wanted to get at Kelariis directly.
I didn't even know the amulet existed until how long ago did we get here? Like this
Like,
morning?
A couple days ago.
Yeah.
No, like this morning. Like I
Yeah,
didn't know it existed.
you weren't aware of the amulet's existence until this morning.
Yeah. Forgive me if I'm asking a bit much, but do you know what sort of secret they could be referring to, assuming that this is directed at you or the household?
In terms of that, I'm afraid those sort of matters would be a concern for the lady of the house. I am aware that I should not say too much.
I think that if there is ever a time where you should say a bit more than usual, it is now, considering the circumstances.
Well, we should probably leave that to the lady of the house.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Instead of-
that, and also this, you know, it's entirely understandable if we're not exactly the most trustworthy people to be telling this kind of information.
Yeah, it's fine. But well, I guess I guess he should not be the judge of it. But let's focus on what we can find out before we go off on a wild goose chase. Because we've only checked for magic really, and
Is that the only unusual thing magic-wise in the room?
It's the only thing out of place compared to last time, yes.
Okay.
well, I guess we should probably have a regular look around as well, considering.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah, let's have a regular look around for signs of the break-in.
Sure.
I assume they just used.
Give me some investigation checks.
And I'm gonna get Scarlet's help.
Yeah, can I
This
just
Scarlet's
help
good girl.
somebody investigate?
Sure.
Wow.
Can Scarlet help
Not
me? with
Arya,
investigation?
yes.
I'm so sorry.
For fuck's sake, guys.
We
Can
are
I
not
have-
doing great.
Wow. Can Scarlet actually help me with an investigation check?
Is Scarlet proficient in investigation?
That's probably
No.
I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, fair. It was a bit of a stretch anyway. Here we go. Nailed it.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
That's better than our
Thank
fucking
you,
next
plus
one
10.
over here.
That's still a below average roll.
Yeah.
It's better than anything else that got
It's
rolled.
better than 2 nat 1s.
Ugh.
That was rough. It's okay, we're getting it out now, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
this is why I took proficient in investigation.
so tell me what it is exactly that you're sort of looking for in this room.
I mean, I guess Elizabeth looking specifically for signs of the break-in, like like how they got in and out.
Okay. So from your casting your gaze sort of around the room, and the way that everything is pretty much undisturbed, exactly the same way that you found it. It doesn't look like there's any signs of forced entry or any signs of a hasty entrance or exit. Somebody walked in here with a deliberate purpose, knew exactly what they were looking for, took it and left. How they managed to get past the sentries, you can't really determine from just straight up looking, but there's no evidence to suggest that any unconventional means was used to enter the building, or the room at least.
So that what they walked in through the door, the door, the room's door.
As far as you can tell, yes.
Sorry. The lady of the house, she wouldn't have been up here recently, like yesterday.
The housemaster just sort of says, well, by her schedule, I don't believe so, but there are unscheduled times where she may have wandered up here. I don't recall seeing her up here myself. You'd have to ask those who were keeping watch.
Well, I guess the real question, are they in the... Well, I guess if they had seen her walk in, they would have said something.
I didn't specifically ask them.
Well, maybe we should ask them specifically.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, everyone, if anyone they saw enter or leave between, well, when would we say it's stolen? Like, when did we leave for our shift? Like,
you probably left at like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, something like that.
I guess we'll just ask if just during their entire shift, we might as well get as much of it as we can.
Yeah, I guess because it could be anybody.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking it wouldn't be it would be possible that there might be some suggesting involved in order to get people to do things without realizing.
That is true.
And considering how clean everything is, I thought perhaps there's a chance. But yeah, we should ask.
Okay.
I think we are. Like, are there any other things we need to do here before we leave? We had a look around, checked for magic. I don't think there's much else. I guess all we have left is questions that only can only be answered by one person. Okay. Well, I guess we should try and make an appointment, or however it works.
Well, almost entirely the house staff. Sorry, hang on. Who do you want to go and see again?
We went to see the lady.
Oh, Lady Othell. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, the housemaster says Lady Othell has remained in her chambers since the discovery this morning, but I will see what I can do. Sort of disappears out of the room, and you are sort of left to your own devices for a few moments.
Could I possibly do an investigation for a different thing?
Go for it. You've got a few minutes.
Yeah. I guess a quick investigation. I guess what I'm trying to find out is if there's anything that might give away anything about the person's identity.
Sure. It's going to be a very difficult investigation check, but you can certainly try.
Better to have tried and failed than never to have tried at all.
Okay. What are the rest of you doing?
Damn.
Did I have a
shit.
object prepared? Damn.
That's literally double my previous roll. And then with the 10 added to it.
Not specifically.
No, I don't have anything yet.
Okay.
I guess, like... Hold on, I need to check the thing for... I need to check the thing for locate creature, because I was just gonna try it as, like, a really long shot, but I wanted to check something on the wording.
Okay.
Would you consider... Would you consider, the weird, like, assassin terrifying thing that was made that tried to murder me as something that I would be, that is known to me at this point? Or, like, a type of thing that is known to me?
It's a type of creature that's known to you, yeah.
Okay. It's a really long shot, but on the off chance it's within 1,000 feet of us, I
Okay.
may as well check while we're here, and we have to wait anyway.
Okay.
In a city of
So
1,000 feet.
Are you casting this with your spell slots, or are you casting it with the rod?
With the rod.
Okay.
I don't actually think I have either of my locate spells prepped right now,
Okay.
so that's not helpful at all.
So you, whilst Elizabeth is sort of like looking around the room, you sort of like hold up the baton and channel the power through it. Nothing.
Yeah, I figured, but I guess it was worth a check.
Well, at least there's no assassin within 1,000 feet of you. That's reassuring.
Yeah,
Great.
it kind of is.
It will take them at least 2 minutes to approach us.
Okay. So, Elizabeth, you spend some time sort of like going over the room, just sort of trying to discern anything about the identity of this individual. After probably about like 5 or 10 minutes of searching, the housemaster sort of comes back and says, Lady Othell will spare you a few moments. Please be careful with what you ask. She is rather upset, understandably, as this is her home, after all, that has had its privacy violated.
Well, we will be as gentle as we can. As far as she can be gentle as words, I guess.
So, you all sort of make your way out of the room. Elizabeth, as you're about to leave the room, you look up into the you're still sort of like casting your gaze around, and you look up, and there's just hidden above the door frame, there's like a tiny cobweb. Obviously, whoever's cleaning this place has not quite managed to get into all of the corners. Hanging from the spiderweb, it looks like it must have drifted there from something that's disturbed it, is a long white hair.
Oh shit. I will take it.
Okay, you reach up. It's looks like it's broken off. Impossible to tell how far along its length, but it the hair that you're now holding is probably 4 inches in length.
I guess I'd go to frantically pat myself down to find something safe to put in it.
Okay.
If I have anything.
I don't know if you have anything on you.
No, I don't. I'm just gonna hold it.
Okay. You're just holding it in your hand.
Yeah, but she's also gonna be like, okay, this might be useful. Guys, found a thing.
What's that?
I know it's not much, but a hair.
Like, but like, it could be anyone's.
I mean, how many people have white hair?
Points to the elf right next to you.
Aside from you.
Well, I mean more as in, like, that hair could have, like, people lose hair all the time.
I mean, come on, it's better than nothing. Give me a break.
Well, I'm just worried that it will lead us towards, well,
Look, it can't hurt keeping it.
sure. I can keep the hair.
Besides, there's some magic. There's magic out there that can require such things. If you want to find someone.
True. I mean, at the very least, it can't hurt to keep it in mind for now.
Exactly.
Or I guess the first question we should ask is, do you remember anyone with white hair that you pissed off? Kelariis.
I don't. I don't. Does Kelariis
Well,
remember anybody with white hair that she's pissed off?
Roll me an intelligence check.
Oh, why is this?
The answer's gonna be Arya once or twice.
I don't actually think I've pissed off Arya that many times, all things considered.
That's why I said once or twice.
Yeah.
Oh.
no.
Most of the people you've pissed off don't tend to have hair.
Okay, fair
Hmm.
enough.
Yeah, fair.
yeah.
I just shrug.
Oh well.
Well, I'm keeping it. It might prove useful in some obscure way. And it's the best we've got.
I mean, it's doing no harm to keep it, so.
Exactly.
Well, let's go and go.
Okay, so you cross the hallway and into the private area. And yeah, as you sort of like you step through into the basically like a small living space before a curtained-off bedchamber, which you assume to be Lady Othel's quarters. And she's sort of like she's sitting in a high-backed chair drinking tea. She looks visibly a little distressed. But she sort of like looks up as you enter and sort of says, "So, have you discovered anything?"
Well, we've discovered. We have some clues. Nothing really decisive or conclusive yet. We were initially hoping to inquire about the stolen object.
Lady Othel just sort of like stares into her teacup and says, "Well, the object in question is quite valuable. Cost me a fair amount of money in an auction."
Unfortunately, we don't think that money is the motive. Well, we're considering the letter, we're pretty sure, but I think they might also be looking for something more functional in the amulet. Would you happen to know any more about it?
All I know is that the item in question it's known as the Black Opal, the stone that's set into the amulet, that is. I was told that it had some magical properties, and I've had that verified, but I don't precisely know what it is that it does. I merely took it on as a collector rather than with any intent to use it.
Enough.
As a person of a learned background, do I know anything about any black opal?
Give me a history check.
Actually, of all people, I should know.
You can also make a history check, and you will get your
Nice.
bonus.
I could get my double proficiency.
I love how I'm consistently rolling like below 10, but everything I've rolled I've got a plus 10 in, so...
Oh, I get that would
Okay.
be a
Nice.
31.
Oh,
No, 31. It would be a 28.
28. Okay.
damn, son.
So Elizabeth, you've never heard of the Black Opal. Grim, the phrase Black Opal sticks in your mind for some reason. It's sort of one of those things that is it's like a fantasy tale or a ghost story for like magic item collectors. It's like stories are told about like the Black Opal in the same way that stories are told about Atlantis, where nobody's really quite sure if it's ever real or based on anything like actually factual. Basically, like anytime anyone ever sort of like claims to own the Black Opal, it's like, oh yes, haha, you've been swindled, sort of thing, and it's just some other random magical amulet they own. But essentially, the tale of the Black Opal is that it's supposed to contain the heart of a fallen creature, and it's said to sort of have these properties that can like lengthen life and other things, but everyone who's ever claimed to have possessed the actual amulet is like either dead or just goes missing or proves to have been a sham. Yeah, it's a thing that's basically shrouded in a great deal of mystery.
Well, I guess we know a little bit about the Black Opal, but it's the main story, like the main thing we know that it's just very vague as to what it exactly is or does. Although I will admit, the fact that it contains the heart of a creature, a little concerning.
A little bit.
Just a bit.
Because I wouldn't be surprised if they would like to return that heart to that certain creature.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's just the heart of a little bunny, who knows?
Oh, well, but we'll
No.
do the.
Did say fallen creature, so
Yeah,
unless it's
bunnies fall over.
satanic bunny.
I mean, bunnies fall over.
Not that kind of fallen.
Yeah.
Bunnies fall off rocks.
Well,
No.
I guess considering the circumstances, we might as well reveal a little bit of why we actually came here. The truth is, like the group, we were trying to figure out, well, why these thefts, or like why and who is making this happen. And well, working here seemed like a good way to get a little closer to everything, which kind of worked. Although unfortunately, we were not on duty at the time. I would ask you, could you keep a secret? It's a minor secret, but wouldn't want to let the public know.
She sort of like looks at you with a very serious expression. So it says, what is it that you're trying to say?
Good
Well,
question.
because we are aware of the you may be aware of the other thefts and how the charges got mysteriously dropped. We are also aware that all of those received similar threats, or also received threats like, well, yourself. And then they decided to drop the charges, and well, the rest you know from there. So we assume like you will most likely be contacted. Like, when, I cannot exactly say. I believe it was 2 days for the others, 1 or 2 days.
It was varied between all of them. That it was within 2 days of the third theft that everybody came all at once.
Admittedly, it seems a little odd that well, you were this out of this far off the others. I assume it's because of the improved security. There is also another matter. These do not. The one thing that this doesn't have in common is the quality of the break-in. There might. Yeah. This job was done professionally at a beyond what most regular people would even be capable if they wanted to. Therefore, I would ask you, it's a simple question. When was the last time you went up there when the amulet was still present? According to your knowing.
As far as I recall, the last time I was there, it was a few hours before I retired, so that would have been perhaps 7:30.
Okay, so you were there yesterday.
I was.
In the evening. Well, this is but we still need to figure out what the guards have to say. However, this is an important aspect. I think those are the key questions we have for now.
Well,
no.
Well, no, because I wanted to ask about like what secret she might have that maybe she's being told to keep quiet. So, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt Grim though. If Grim was still talking.
Oh no, I was just I kind of opened it up to the rest. Just turn. Turned it to the others, kind of.
Oh.
Yeah.
Kind of move.
Lady Othell, forgive me if this is a bit too forward, but we were shown the note that was left behind, and it mentioned a secret of some sort. Perhaps at the risk of prying too much, would you be willing to share a bit about what that might be? It may help us get a better understanding of who could be making the threat.
Give me a persuasion check.
Sure. Oh,
Not bad.
It's not great. It could be
No.
worse.
Lady Othel sort of scrutinizes you for a moment and sort of says, I think that is perhaps a little too personal.
Of course. I will not press any further then in this case.
Well, suffice it to say, you've shown a degree of knowledge about what it is that's gone on here. My housemaster has told me that from all the signs of things, it looks like this may have been an inside job of some sort. Somebody knew the layout of all of our security and all of our traps. And forgive me if this seems a little too far, if it is not you that it has brought that, well, let me try that sentence again. If you are not directly responsible, and perhaps even indirectly so, if you would discover the source of what has happened here, return the amulet to me, and do not involve any external parties, I would be willing to pay a little more for your silence.
Well, we can agree on silence on about the amulet and the break-in and all that stuff. However, we do have some well, I wouldn't say obligations, but we did make an agreement with someone else to help uncover the source of this. They doubtedly will go public with it, but we could definitely leave out well, some of the details.
If you can find the perpetrator, I don't care what happens to them. All I want is my amulet returned and my secrets safe.
Well, that shouldn't be. Well, yeah, we will definitely do our best to do that. We will not. We have no reason to share the secrets, nor to leave the perp. Well, on well, what were you saying? Like out in the world, leave them free.
I understand what it is that you're saying.
Yes. They've yeah. They seem like a dangerous bunch. But yes. We will try not to waste your time, and unless you yourself have any more questions.
Not at this moment.
Well, you're so well. I guess you will be able to find us at. Well, I guess we've shared where we stay.
Yeah. She
Well,
sort of nods and waves her hand and says, "I know how to have my people find you."
Okay, and that is. Then I guess that is settled. Although we might move someone on night shift over here. Just have someone around in case someone shows up. Because I imagine they are gonna make a demand at some point if we don't find them first.
Okay.
Yeah.
If nobody else has anything else they want to add, yeah, the housemaster leads you out back into the hall and sort of says, "Well, I don't know what it is that you're planning on doing, but as Lady Othell said, if you are able to resolve this matter, then we can forget about this unpleasant business, and perhaps there'll be something more in it for you."
There is one thing that we would, like you might be a little more aware of the happenings in the local town, considering we've been here for a while. We heard about, like how long ago was it? Like a while back. There were some chariots that arrived in the middle of the night in town. It seemed kind of fancy, and they arrived at an odd time. Would you happen to know of any high-profile arrivals, or
High-profile arrivals?
or well, someone who is more somewhat of more considerable wealth compared to the average commoner. As well, let's face it, not everybody can afford chariots.
The only well, I don't know particularly of anyone who arrived by carriage or arrived late at night, but if I recall, let me check my notes. Well, there was a talk of the Smallbrook family did receive some guests the other evening. They were scheduled to come to it's essentially a bi-monthly social event. They were scheduled to come, but they apologized that they had unexpected guests, but I never saw any sign of them, which people who know families in this town tend to know other families and tend to have more frequent visits, but it's the only recent unusual occurrence that I know of amongst high society.
Mhm.
Now, when did you say that was?
Goodness, that must have been that was a month or so ago.
So that would line up fairly well.
So, just before
So
that rather unpleasant incident in the cathedral.
we were kind of hoping to at some point find a way to well, perhaps talk to the Smallbrook family. However, considering well their status, we were still debating on or well, still considering what the best way would be. They seem to have the least, well, be the most motivated to capture whomever did this, perhaps. But we don't want to. Well, we wouldn't. Of course, we won't try and implicate you guys in any way, or like mention that you were involved in this investigation.
Well, if word travels anything like I know it does, they may already be aware, but if you would hold off on mentioning it to them, I'm sure Lady Othell would appreciate that.
Well, I was mainly seeking a little advice on how to approach them in a somewhat private yet well, in a smart way that like we can have perhaps a private conversation, considering you are well more versed in the noble houses here.
Well, unless you have a title, I don't think that's likely. Unless you are capable of posing as lawyers or facilitators of some kind to the family, I don't know what will get you a private audience.
Well, I guess perhaps we can spike their interest. And the title, we might. I guess we have a title, but I doubt they are actually interested in it.
Oh, right.
Yes. Oh, yeah. You guys have a title.
Yeah. I was like, wait, what title? Yeah.
Yep. How do the Smallbrooks feel about elves? It's the real
Wow.
Most
think they would.
families around here don't have too much care for the elves. They're not unwanted as perhaps they were in older times, but there is no love lost between them.
See, if we perhaps had some, well, you know, I guess so. I guess that might be our in then. but we will. Well, thanks for your assistance. Think we'll be able to take it from here.
Well, this certainly seems to be more your fields of expertise than mine.
Well, you would be surprised as to what skills come in handy. But yes, we will. Unless anybody else needs to know anything.
I think I'm good.
Can't think of anything right now.
Well, I guess we'll let you get back to your duties. That said, if we're still gonna considering guard duty, we will. It would be appreciated if we have a little more freedom during our investigation. I guess we don't necessarily need to be
I
paid still. 'Cause,
don't
well,
think Lady Othell will be proceeding outside anytime soon, so if we find you are needed for anything, I will find a runner to get in touch with you.
and perhaps I would have to quickly ask the others. How would you feel about hosting Fasira here?
That's fine with me.
So we have someone who, well, could potentially alert us.
I will ask her if she'd be willing to do that, but I cannot imagine that she'd say no.
Well, it was
Wait.
mainly because it would perhaps
Yeah, she's with you right now. So.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
just kidding.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
we
For some
took her
reason in
with
my
us.
head I thought she wasn't with us.
No.
Oh, yeah, because we took her with us because we didn't want to leave her alone in case of an attack.
Great.
Yeah.
And now we want to leave
Yeah.
her here alone.
Well, this is the thing.
Yeah, but
Well,
there's already
you-
been an attack.
Yeah.
You're gonna leave her alone in a house full of guards. That's a little different.
I mean, previously we would have been leaving her alone in a fortress filled with mercenaries.
Yeah,
But
and I guess
anyway.
she was alone in the what's it called? In the inn yesterday.
In the inn
Elizabeth-
That's when
yesterday.
we went to do all
Yeah.
the weird shit.
Elizabeth's actually going to pipe up and say, perhaps
Or not yesterday.
I would be
but-
better. If you're going to keep anyone behind, I would be better, since if something does go wrong, I can contact you much quicker than a runner could.
Yes, but you have you have certain skills that that you cannot replace with a runner. Unfortunately.
I suppose you have a point there.
Tallithsyr just sort of is taking in this conversation. Just says, "I don't mind staying here. I can."
And the reason why I say this is because I would have to ask the house master, yeah,
Master of the house.
if Sierra could stay here because we would want someone to be here as much as possible.
I didn't think you'd have any objection.
No, but
Sure,
just
if you're
making
alright with
just making sure it's actually possible. Not necessarily just I think regular guard station.
I mean,
or housing.
you could
will
also
do.
say, if anything, it saves him having to look for a runner because he can send Tallithsyr to.
Arrangements
Come
can
get
be made. I'm afraid we don't have anything in terms of spare accommodation, but
Can't believe they offered us accommodation and then we had our own and now it's gone. No, it's fine. That will be fine. Well, I think we're gonna have to hatch a plan. So we will. Where should we go first? The real question. I think the housemaster, you have served as well, I guess. So I don't think there's anything left for you to assist in. For now.
well, I shall be nearby if you need anything. I would like a word with your compatriot that will be remaining here as to the new revisions to the security.
Oh, of course. That shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. Yeah, he and Tallithsyr sort of walk away discussing what the new security arrangements are.
I have concern, but that's just because I'm always worried about
Jayla is concerned.
Honestly, I feel like she's probably going to be safer here than with us.
Yeah, she'll
Yeah,
be
I mean,
fine.
I know that that's true, probably, but that doesn't stop me from being worried.
Fair. Whew. Well, I'd say we have to. Well, our only lead again is, or we're back to our main lead being the small brooks.
Yeah, seems like we need to pay them a visit.
Yeah.
That's not going to be easy.
Well,
To be fair, that's
I
not
guess-
exactly stopped us before.
No.
I mean, true, but this is difficult for different reasons.
Is it?
well, there's always the easy way, just smash your way
Breaking
in.
it.
But
No.
I feel like that would that would
We
have
just-
dire
I'd just like to point out that's definitely not on the table. And if it is on the
Sorry.
table, I'd like to take it
I
off the
should be
table,
clear.
throw it in the fire.
I should be clear, that was not Kelariis saying that, that was me saying that as a joke.
Oh,
I do
yeah,
not think we should break in unless like we really have no other way of getting in
Yeah.
there.
Grim would
We
just,
could just
Grim just
ask.
say it, but like
Yeah.
not as in like it's a good plan, but it's a plan that is like not like he doesn't
That's-
expect to have.
That's a
reasons.
plan that's not an option.
But yeah.
It's an option if we can't come up with anything else.
Well,
think we
even
should
then,
avoid it
I
if
feel like that
possible.
would.
Even then, no, it's not.
It's
You
a
need to be a
plan,
little
we
more
just maybe should
open-minded,
follow
but
it.
there's a few more consequences, and well, we are still kind of good guys.
Kind of. I would like to think we're the good guys.
Yeah.
Can we like not do actions that make us debatably heroes? I'd like to just be, heroes.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that. Look, why don't we just go ask if we can take a look around their house and see what happens?
I mean, I know there's no harm in
Oh,
asking, but like,
actually,
really?
there might be one in that's a little that like if it fails, it might tell us something, and if it succeeds, it would also tell us something.
What's that?
How about we present one of the notes received? Because if they recognize it, they might be like, "Oh, they're in the same boat." But if they don't recognize it, it means it was someone else, or the ransom note, or whatever kind of threats was written differently.
I mean, I think we know that this one was not connected to the other ones, right?
Do we?
I don't think we do know for sure, is the problem.
I think we're pretty sure, personally.
Mhm.
I'm not convinced.
It wouldn't be unreasonable for someone that to try and plan this out. But if they recognize it, like I said, we get confirmation that it is the same. And if they don't, there's a good chance that it isn't. It doesn't rule out the option, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if talking to them though is going to be as simple a case as walking over and knocking on their door.
But we don't know.
Well,
till
that's
we
the
try.
thing. We can basically leave our details behind, and with the note and and tell him about it. I'm like, although I am thinking, did they even receive a death, or I say death threat, a threat at all? Well, I assume they received a death threat and didn't comply, considering the circumstances. And then there's always the fact that they had these shadowy figures show up in the middle of the night, cancelled an appointment or whatever it was.
I mean, we don't know 100% that was them. It's just very likely.
What do you mean?
It's like both events happened a month ago. It happened around, like, the timing was kind of correct.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we
I
can
mean,
assume that's them.
It's like,
Correlation doesn't equal causation.
It
Yeah,
doesn't.
but let's be real.
but like the problem is, if you don't do that just a little, like, you can't actually get anywhere ever.
Yeah, and I think all of the things are pointing towards this family, so.
Yeah. I mean, at the very least, something happened, and maybe it is related, and we won't know until we try to find out.
The only other option is that we try to get, like, see what we can see from the outside, see if we can see anything suspicious. However, walking
I don't
around
think we'll be
might
able
look,
to. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be really suspicious.
and yeah, it would make us look really
I mean, we look
unsavory.
suspicious anyway at this point, don't we?
Yeah, but we don't want to help it along.
No, I agree.
So yeah, I'm just gonna like empty a pocket to put this hair in.
Okay.
Oh, that was one question I forgot to ask. Oh wait, before we go, we should ask the guard, of course. The guards
Oh, right. If
should
they
find the on
saw-
duty guards from last night.
The night guards.
Because it may seem silly, but I want to confirm that, like, they have the same last time entered for Lady Othell
Othell.
as she has.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or, like, at least have them be close enough.
Right.
To the night guards. Da-la-la-la-la.
Away.
Okay. So you go down to the common room, and through a couple of questions, you find the individuals who were on night watch that evening. One of whom is a sort of fairly wiry looking for a dwarf, like a young dwarf mercenary who's sort of kitted out in house attire, and as well as a older looking human man, probably in like his 40s or something like that, who's wearing sort of like slightly more formal clothing, but has like a leather breastplate underneath the smarter clothes. And they sort of take them aside and sort of are like, "So, what's this about?"
We just need to ask some just some easy questions. We ran into something a little off, and we wanted to make sure that, like, everything makes sense. Like, we just need you to run by everyone that went in and out of the gallery during your shift.
During our shift.
Yes, if possible. It may seem weird, but, like, it will make sense eventually.
Well, as far as I remember, well, when we clocked on, when we clocked on, points at the dwarf fella points at Elizabeth, says, "Well, you were in there for starters."
Yes.
After that, Housemaster came up. And after the evening started to quieten down, people started to go home. Lady Othell came, did her normal security checks. Trying to think if anyone else came up. Not that I recall.
Oh,
No.
that is fine. Yeah, you're on guard on your own.
Nope, he was with me. He points to
Oh,
the
okay.
man.
Right.
Yeah, I
Anything-
think the only thing that seemed odd last night was yeah, it was the disturbance downstairs.
Oh, we never heard
Hmm.
anything about a disturbance.
Well, I
Yeah,
don't-
what there?
it just sort of shrugs and says, "I don't know, ask her." Points to Elizabeth.
What?
Excuse me?
Well, all we heard was there was a loud noise downstairs, and then shouting up from you guys that there was nothing wrong.
What the fuck?
And
That was not us. We weren't here for any of that.
What time was this? What? I don't remember this. All I did yesterday was do like a quick walk around. Then Grim suggested a patrol looking for magic, so I did that. That's when I came in the treasury room, the gallery.
what time do you say that happened?
Like 2 in the morning, something like that.
I was asleep at 2 in the morning.
They just sort of like look at you very confused.
What? The
Yeah, I was at the North Road Tavern in bed.
What the fuck?
Was I in bed or was I? I might have still been awake, but I was still at the North Road Tavern.
You were definitely in bed by that point.
I was definitely in bed by that point.
Well,
How
that is good to
soon
know.
before that did you go to sleep?
You
That's an
know,
excellent question.
What,
That's a good
one.
Elizabeth? Like 45, 50 minutes, something like that.
Yeah. I got nearly an
How long
hour.
does it take to get from the tavern to this side of town if you're walking?
Depends. In the morning, it takes you guys about like 40 minutes crossing the through the streets. But if the streets were empty, maybe a little less.
We should maybe look if there was anyone else downstairs who may have witnessed the kerfuffle or whatever you want to call it.
And sorry, you said it was all of us down there?
Well, I only saw her. Sorry, I don't know your name.
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. I only saw Elizabeth, and there was somebody else in there with her. I assume it was one of you.
It wasn't one of
Oh.
us.
Fortunately,
You
that
didn't,
is.
you didn't see the other person at all? Like, even a glimpse?
They were short.
Ah.
Yeah.
He just said one tall.
Wow.
Oh no.
I don't know. All I saw was somebody short, like walking in through a door.
Are we talking short like Grim short, or are we talking
Yeah.
short like human short?
Probably about your size.
Hmm.
Well, at least I'm in the clear.
No, he's saying it was your size.
Oh, my size.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was Grim short. Grim short, not human short.
Well,
Right.
aren't we looking for a halfling? Potentially, maybe?
Possibly.
We
It was-
do know
it was
about
a
a
halfling,
about a
right?
halfling.
Might have been that size. I don't know. I saw him for like less than
Well,
a second.
No, that's fair.
That's close enough.
It was a halfling, right? Like, I'm not remembering.
Yeah,
that
that's
completely wrong.
that was what you heard from the druid.
Point of clarification: Elizabeth never told us about what happened last night, right?
Don't believe so.
No,
Yeah, I didn't think
Nothing-
she did.
no, she did not talk about. She has never talked about her conversations with this enthusiastic historian lady.
You know,
One
you do
side.
know she was up late last night talking to her, but that's all
Yeah.
I
Right.
know.
Yeah, that was where my question came from. I don't
Yeah.
know. Obviously, we don't know.
Arya probably also is aware of the fact that the two of them went upstairs, but that's about it.
Winku.
Wow.
Luka!
God damn.
To be fair, that's me. Arya probably would not assume.
I don't think
Also would
Winku
not
is in
be-
Arya's vocabulary.
Yeah, I don't think that is.
If Arya starts saying "oh woo," there's something seriously wrong.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's
you
when we
know
know
I'm,
that
like,
you've
drugged.
been either possessed or
Yeah.
somebody's posing as
Drugged,
you.
possessed, something else.
Yeah. That's good though.
Doppelgangered.
Doppelgangered.
Doppelganger the drunk. No.
I don't even think drunk she would be like that.
No.
Well, considering.
You didn't happen to hear any other conversation or like what was going on before the commotion or whatever?
Nope. We were just standing around doing our normal duty, and then there was a big crash bang from downstairs. We sort of ran to see what was going on, and that was it. Went straight back to our posts after like a couple of minutes, maybe.
Interesting. A couple of minutes. What did any other guards show up for the bang?
Don't think anybody else was awake.
Well, I was just hoping to get more angles, but that's fine. Well, things are starting to make sense.
Are they?
No, they're not.
No, but that's what I'm saying to the guard. I don't want to cause any suspicion.
Oh.
I mean, that's
So,
what I thought-
Grim just like, okay, this is starting to make sense. Elizabeth's just like, is it?
And Elizabeth's meant to be the smart one.
Yeah.
Elizabeth is holding some cards here that we need to know about, but we don't know about.
Well,
There wasn't anybody else on duty downstairs specifically that maybe we could talk to. Maybe they saw something else.
Well, there might have been. There would have been the guys who were on the front door and the guys who were in the back courtyard, but I don't know if they heard anything.
No, that's fine.
I mean, I guess there's no. I kind of like look at Gurma as there probably no harm in talking to them to see, just in case.
No, that would definitely would be interesting to get their point of view.
Well, they're probably asleep right now, as we're about to be, but
Fair.
Before
can
you
wake
head
them
off
up if
bed-
it's urgent.
Actually, we should. Yeah, we should. I feel like it's. Yeah, it would be best. If you don't want to be the one that has to wake him up, you can just point him out and we'll gently.
I don't
it.
mind.
Okay.
We will make it as quick as possible.
Okay.
for them.
Oh, before you go, did you see a red coat on the halfling? Or the short guy?
Not that I recall.
That's fine.
I'm sorry, it was dark.
It's fine. You've already.
Did you say that's expected?
Oh,
But yeah, it's expected to not be able to see color in the dark.
Yeah. But like it's
Almost like that's
Yeah.
part of
it's more,
darkness.
you've already told us more than we thought we'd get.
This is Grim just low-key
Um,
insulting these poor cards.
Yeah, these poor
No,
guards.
like I know it's not even insulting. This is like
It's pretty insulting.
He's trying
just-
to compliment.
I think
I
it's just the regular Grim tone where everything sounds mildly insulting until you
Yeah,
know
pretty
him.
much.
it's
He-
just like because we expected them not to have nothing interesting happen, and then like stuff happened, so that's more than we expected.
Yes.
He says, I don't really know what it is that I've told you, but
Oh, it's we were trying to learn more about the kerfuffle downstairs. It's fine. It's
yeah,
nothing-
no,
nothing serious.
it's okay. I was just
They Thank you for your time and help.
It's
really.
okay.
Oh god.
He sort of goes into the back room, like
Well,
We're great at this.
a human comes to the door frame, just sort of like leans to the door frame, like rubbing sleep out of his eyes and says, "Yeah, what is it?"
We have to just get just a few minutes. Last night you were at the front gate, right?
No, back courtyard.
Oh, back courtyard. That's also fine. Did you happen to see a like? Did you happen to see two people enter the building, like in the evening? Or like, when did you last see her? Just point to Elizabeth.
It's a good question. Probably when you guys were leaving.
The four of us?
Yeah.
What?
Well, you and the other one.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. And then would what's it called? Front gate guy?
Front guy.
Would the guard that was posted up front also be around?
Like sort of this, the second guy comes to the thing and is like, yeah, that's me.
Okay. Well, if you didn't see anything, then I guess you can go back to bed. And you
Did you hear anything though? I guess before you go.
Hear anything? No. There was some weird guy seemed to be skulking around. I shoot him off, but I didn't seem anything out of the ordinary. There's like sort of all sorts of crazy folk about in the wee hours of the morning.
What did he look like? If you saw much.
Was kind of tall, goatee, beard, short black hair. But had creepy eyes. But I don't know, maybe he was on drugs or something.
Wow.
magic crack.
Magic crack.
I mean, there's just regular crack as well.
Yeah, but that means there's also magic crack.
There's magic anything if you try hard enough.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I wouldn't be. It's just regular crack, but like sparkly.
Sparkly.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Isn't crack already sparkly? Like it's like a
Well,
crystal,
now it's
right?
more sparkly. Duh.
This is me who's never taken drugs.
No, I think
You went to. You
Isn't
probably went to Bible
crack
studies
the-
though.
crack-
That's
no,
probably what they
crack is
do
a
there,
powdery
according to
shit.
that fine.
crack's the
Wow.
powdery, like
Anyway.
Luka, I think you were thinking of meth. I don't know. Anyway.
Jesse!
Math is crystal.
It's fine.
We have to cook.
Anyway,
Anyways, we're just
Anyway.
gonna move on.
Yeah, we're getting really distracted.
Around what
Don't do
time
drugs,
was
kids.
that?
Probably like
If...
2 in the morning, something like that.
Shit. Okay, yeah, great.
You didn't happen to hear any noise from the downstairs?
Not particularly.
Okay.
Actually, could you give me that description one more time of the?
Of the guy,
Yeah.
tall, like goatee beard, dark hair, crazy eyes. That's about it.
Okay, that's enough.
Sort of, I followed him a little way down the alley and just sort of like shoot him off, and he just turned tail and practically scurried away.
Didn't say anything.
If he did, I wasn't even close enough to hear him.
Fair. Well, that's helpful. Thank you.
He sort of like turns away, goes back into the room, and the guy who came up behind him just sort of says, "I didn't hear or see anything."
You see, that's kind of a problem.
I don't follow.
Are you like?
I mean, the other two guys on the Nightworks were kind of apparently heard a noise, and apparently I was there, but I don't recall being there. It was weird.
No noise, no people.
So since like, at what time did you start your watch?
Same time as pretty much everyone else, like 7:30.
Hmm. Well, that's. Well, I guess that's if you. Well, if you think of anything, be sure to let Sarah know that you'll recognize her by, well, she looks like a dragonborn. Points at Kelariis.
Wow.
But yeah, if that's it for now, then that will be it for now.
Alright then. Just turns back.
Hmm.
I'm wondering if our strange man was the thing.
The thing.
Maybe.
The weird assassin thingies.
Well,
Though I guess they can turn invisible, so maybe not. Actually, scratch that idea.
Yeah, they're
think
like
it-
chameleon-y.
it might not be the same demon, or
Maybe we shouldn't talk about this here.
servant. But regardless, I feel like that last guy just honestly just wanted sleep and didn't care.
Well, we should probably find somewhere to talk.
Did you have somewhere in mind?
Somewhere not quite so crowded.
Yeah, you are like standing in like the common room of the.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Well, I guess we could go back.
Elizabeth
to
just
the
looks at you and is like,
inn.
do I ever have a specific in mind? Like, just somewhere, anywhere else.
It's fine. We'll just head outside, I guess, for now.
Okay. You go and stand outside in the street. There's like one guard, but you just move over to the other side of the street.
Well, so I guess that leaves us with a few more options. Or well, I say few. We learned two big things: duplicates and crazy-eyed, dark-haired, goatee, tall guy.
Yeah, it seems like someone's been impersonating us.
I
Or
don't
at
like
least
this.
Elizabeth. Yeah, I don't like this either. Because that. I mean, I'm just worried about a situation where Elizabeth, the fake Elizabeth, is in with us and we don't know it.
Right. Yeah, we haven't exactly had a great time the
Oh well,
other
actually,
time that happened.
I'm. Last I checked, I'm still definitely me.
Well,
Yes,
for right
well-
now.
Not
but the
reassuring,
problem
but-
is, like saying that doesn't confirm that for us.
Yeah.
However, we will give you the benefit of the doubt.
For now.
So I guess the question is, what do we want to pursue? I think both paths will lead us to Smallbrook eventually.
I would
feel-
assume so.
I feel like every time we take another path, it just points us back in the same direction. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's time we pay a visit.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean,
Well,
it might be a
Um,
good idea to like make sure every path goes the same way.
I mean, we have at least 2 paths leading there right now. I think that's probable cause to go and investigate.
I
yeah, but I
suppose.
think the worst case is that we get a little bit more information from them, even
Yeah.
if we don't find the answer there.
Yeah, alright, fair, good point.
also,
Lead the way.
our
Let's go.
our other two leads are kinda limited.
Yeah.
doppelganger and a tall, well, a guy,
Yeah.
a description of a guy.
Well, I don't know what else to do, so yeah, I guess we'll just go and talk to them.
Hmm.
Okay, so you begin making your way out into the street. You don't actually know where they live.
Oh.
Right, time to ask a guard.
Yeah, I guess might as well ask.
Ask the city guard.
Okay. Yeah, you come on. The city watchmen in the noble district are fairly common. You can sort of like look up and down the street and see 2 people at any one time. You come across a city watchman who just sort of says, "You want to visit the Smallbrooks? Well, if you follow the line of trees up that way, and it's the one right on the edge." You head along this long line of. It's almost like a street that's had like the center of it has been just lined with a series of small trees that are all immaculately manicured to be like identical. You follow down this thing. Follow down this road until you get to another large, slightly larger than the Othell Manor, actually. And next to it, there's like a smaller, like almost like sort of like an office front building that just says Small Books Trading Company on the side. So do you go into to go up to the manor house, or do you go into the trading company office?
I feel like entering the trading company office is less like out of nowhere intrusive, but I also feel like going to the manor would potentially get us.
Okay.
I mean, it might be a good idea just to see what's in the trading.
I
Yeah.
think we need to just. I say we go into or just towards the manor with a sense of purpose. Like-
Okay. Stride. with a
Throw
sense
back
of
your
purpose.
shoulders and walk forward like you mean it.
Okay.
And because I think that like maybe we can, if you still have your threats on you, right?
Me?
Yeah, we still have the threats on us.
I would only imagine, yeah. I've not gotten rid of any of the ones that were sent to me or directed at me, I guess.
Yeah, you have at least one on you. So.
2, because I have the other one. Well, I guess one of them just says the first of many, which isn't very descriptive, but
And then you have the original.
yes.
So, you begin to walk up the path. Very swiftly, you are stopped by 2 private security.
Yeah.
Can I just point out? I'm gonna do something stupid,
Okay.
but Elizabeth's panicking right now.
Why is
Elizabeth lets
Elizabeth
them
panicking?
just sort of walk up to the path and finds a side street to disappear down.
Wait,
Okay.
what?
Like while they're walking up to the manor.
Do
So
I notice this?
You're just
Sorry,
gonna
do I notice her
you're just gonna leave the. Well, are you sneaking away?
I mean, I guess she's not necessarily making an. No, yeah, she is. She's trying to sneak away.
Well, make a stealth check
That's what
then.
she's doing. Nope.
Mhm.
Okay. So
Fair.
the only person I think you sneak away from is Grim.
Yeah.
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 Beat it by 1.
I mean, she still tries.
So Grim just like strides up the path. Kelariis and Arya just stop for a moment. Watch Elizabeth just going like, do like comic book sneaking away.
I mean, as soon as she's off down a side street, she's like probably takes
What-
off running.
It depends if you make it even that
I
far.
was gonna say Arya's gonna call out and be like, "Where are you going, Elizabeth?"
Yeah. Kinda like, did you see something?
Yep.
She's gonna go. I just realized I left something at the tavern, and she runs off.
Okay.
I feel like we should
Can I try
chase
to
her.
grab her arm before she goes? Like, I don't know how
Yeah.
close
Well, no, because she's got. Well, that's the thing. I imagine she kind of lets them walk up to the thing, and then just like walks away. This already would have been distance.
I mean, there's a fair way to do that, and that's an opposed athletics.
Yeah, you want to try this? Let's try it. Because Arya's gonna run after you.
Oh, yeah. Actually, on that point, if Arya's running with Lyra, Arya outruns you because she gets 10 extra feet.
Well, that.
I'll let Arya take care of that, I guess.
So yeah, Elizabeth like takes off at like a brisk
even
sprint, and
crazier
Arya's just like, okay.
even crazier idea. I'm gonna
God.
enhance my movement a bit. I'm just gonna fucking teleport away.
Okay.
What? Oh my god, what the hell is
Like-
going on?
Literally, though.
Well, this is now highly suspicious.
Yeah, this
Yeah, I
is
know.
really suspicious.
Yeah, I know. I like panicked.
Do I know how far away teleport works? Like,
Well, how far are you? What are you
Um,
teleporting with?
Well, you don't know. You don't know the spell I'm about to use. Because I'm about to use
Right.
Far Step,
Oh.
Oh.
so I can teleport up to 60 feet.
I mean,
Let's
I
fight.
will say at this point, Arya thinks that you are the doppelganger.
And then I could do it again the turn after, and after that,
What the
for 10
fuck?
turns.
Okay.
It's double Misty Step, but I could do it every turn for a minute.
What
So
the hell?
That costs you your action, right?
No, that's a bonus action
that's-
spell.
Okay.
It's a
Is
bonus action
Far
spell to teleport, and then it's a further bonus action to teleport.
Hmm.
So I can
I don't
teleport
know.
60 feet away, and then on each of your turns before the spell ends, you can use a bonus action to teleport in this way again.
Okay. So the
So I can still technically dash, so I can 60 feet dash, then teleport.
the TLDR is that you even at a full sprint Arya, unless you have magical enhancement, you can't keep up with
I mean,
this.
I can also Misty Step, but I don't know where she's going.
Yeah, you can also only do that
Yeah.
once, but
Yeah.
Lars, do you have dispel magic?
Haha, no.
Damn it!
Wait, do
Okay.
I?
Well, if you don't have prepared, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think
Yeah, I only would. Yeah,
Okay.
I only would have teleported like 60 feet.
So
away.
Elizabeth just fucking disappears.
I'm gonna turn back to the other ones, and I'm gonna say I think that was the imposter, Elizabeth.
And
Yeah,
I'm
it
going
is.
to and I'm going to immediately send a message to Historian Lady.
Okay.
And I want to say, work's
we
been
know?
slightly spooky. Are you free? Can you meet me at the tavern?
What the fuck is going on?
Okay.
Literally, though.
So we'll come back to that scene.
What? Where are we going? Oh, Elizabeth's
To
scene.
us,
We'll cut Elizabeth's scene there. And what are you guys doing as Elizabeth just fucking disappears?
I mean, Arya's very concerned.
yeah, like if Arya says that, I'm like, should we? So we should probably try to hunt her down, find her, whoever
Yeah,
that
whatever
is.
that thing is. I mean, it's like just the timing.
Hmm.
Well, it's that or something's wrong with Elizabeth, and either way, I think that's a bad sign.
Yeah, it's not great. I don't know where Elizabeth went though, or whatever that thing was.
Well. We should probably head back to the Othell Manor and warn Facera to keep.
Yeah. Yeah. Hold on. We were walking up to the mansion. How far did we get to? Like, how weird is this going to look if we
Like
suddenly just
like
went-
5 feet.
Oh, okay. We didn't get that.
Because you
far.
noticed instantly as soon as Elizabeth tried to split off.
That's fair.
Mm.
Yeah, we should head back to the manor, and then I don't know where to go from there.
Yeah, I don't either.
Well, we should just put everyone on alert, and well, I think I kind of want to go in here because something must be up with this place. But I guess we might as well check the tavern because that's. She said she forgot something there.
I mean, we can check the tavern. I very much doubt she'll be there, but we can check it.
But if she's there, then at least there's some sense. Then there might be something else going on that we don't know about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that
yeah, I
also
think
sounds like the shadiest excuse, but
Yeah, it does.
It does, but let's.
So, is this you guys splitting up, or?
No,
No, this
Okay.
is.
we're gonna go warn the mansion real fast. and
Okay,
then go-
so back to the manor and then to the tavern. Okay, cool. So you take off at a run.
yeah.
yeah. At this point, yeah.
So, Kelariis, as you are rounding the corner back onto the main street, like where that runs up through the noble district into towards Othell Manor, you blitz past at a sprint, Velt, who, seeing you sprinting in a direction, 180s and sprints alongside you.
Oh, God.
What a legend.
Keep up.
I mean, you're running 60 feet around, right?
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we are.
we might be running 50 due to some.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Because of Paul Grim.
So yeah, he can definitely keep up with you.
Yeah, okay,
Oh.
that's fair. Grim, because Grim want to be like.
Although,
Arya and Lyra just go, "Meow," and everyone else is just like.
admittedly, I'm not sure if we were all out sprinting or just making like
Yeah.
very, very hasty.
A brisk jog.
I
Well,
mean, I think that considering the circumstances, a sprint may be.
It might be a good idea.
That's gonna look so weird. But
I feel
random people
like-
just walking down the street
Yeah.
and seeing Dragonborn, Elf, and Wolf just sprinting down the road.
I mean,
Yeah.
the scenario that Arya is going through right now in her head is Elizabeth has been captured, replaced by a doppelganger. There is like
Are in danger.
people are in
No, that's
danger.
Yeah,
But
like,
I see I just don't want us to draw unwanted attention. Because
I mean, we-
three people fully armored and geared running through a street
To be fair,
at full speed.
I don't imagine that you're armored right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like the only one who's probably wearing armor is like me, because I just
yeah,
wear
because you always
my
have
armor all
Yep.
the
But
time.
why wouldn't? Because we would wear armor for guard duty, right?
That's true.
I mean,
And we just
yeah, if you say you're armored, then you're armored.
because that at least that makes sense to me because we
Yeah.
we expected guard duty, then we had to
Okay.
break in, and then all these
Oh, yeah,
shenanigans
that is
happened.
true.
Okay, so yeah, so you and Kelariis and Grim are perhaps like moving at like a fast pace while Arya like moves on a little ahead. Velt sort of like turns to keep up with you and is just like, "Where are you going in such a hurry?"
We think either somebody in our group is captured or something's wrong with her. Long story short, something happened at the manor last night, and stuff was stolen, and we think it's all related. Also, there was another threat.
Oh, Felt, do you do magic?
A little.
Okay. That's good to know. I'll come up with something.
We may need all the help that we can get on that, considering it's our wizard that's potentially MIA, or is MIA. MIA.
That's not good.
No, it's not. You
I
haven't seen anything weird lately, have you?
well, that's kind of what I was going to come and talk to you about, but
Oh.
I guess it can kind of wait.
Maybe when we get to the manors. This is just the most awkward,
Yep.
like, panted conversation. Like, oh god, we're running. And
Yep.
trying to
We are
carry a full
talking
conversation
very
right now.
coldly.
Yeah.
True.
So you,
shape, but that's still hard.
yeah,
Oh, admittedly, there's one thing. I assume the manor that we're heading to was closer than the tavern, right?
oh yes, by a long shot, yes.
Yeah, okay, because it's not that we're like running past the tavern. It's like we'll be back later.
We're coming back.
No, yeah, not quite opposite ends of the city, but like,
Not next.
the manor is in the same district. The tavern is in the next district across.
I expect as much.
That tracks.
Okay, so you arrive back at the thing. the very startled-looking guard outside lets the three of you in, but like stops Velt, and he's just like,
Oh.
I guess I'm
He's
just gonna
with
wait here.
us. No, he's with us.
Make me a persuasion
wait
check.
Wait outside, Belt.
Sure. I mean,
Wait,
whatever. I'll try.
Okay.
If the worst case scenario is he stays outside.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to bring in.
Oh,
Where was that earlier?
Nice.
Fuck!
Okay, so the way like the guard like puts his hand out and like stops Velt, like has his hand on his like chest to like stop him from like moving any further, and then just this like mail-clad hand just like lands on his shoulder. He looks up and you just go, he's with us, and he's just like, just lets go of Velt's shirt and just like Velt just walks past.
Yeah, I kind of like look back and just I'll vouch for him if anything goes weird.
Okay.
It won't. But...
Yeah, it won't, but
Yeah.
you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't think we want to.
Things
rush
are
them.
already gone weird. You guys have just suddenly appeared again, going at full sprint.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
fine.
you know, whatever. Shit is weird.
Okay.
Alright?
Yeah.
So
Shit's weird.
you step inside. Like yeah, so you basically like step into the common room, and like Tallithsyr is just sort of like standing on the opposite side of the common room and like sees you guys come back in, and, like sort of looks quizzical.
You want to take this one?
Oh, something might be wrong with Elizabeth. Long story short, she ran off when we were trying to go speak with the, immediately forgot their name, Smallbrooks. We don't know where she went or what's going on, so just keep an eye out. We wanted to bring news of that.
Okay.
Okay. When we, I think before we continue on, we should probably inform. We should probably inform the house master of the doppelganger situation.
Correct.
Wait, hold on a
I
second.
guess like oh, go on.
No, that was Tallithsyr saying, "Wait, hold on a second."
Oh, yeah.
She's like,
Oh,
"Doppelganger?"
I was going to also look at her and be like, has anything happened while we were gone? I know it wasn't long, but
Most
No,
important,
really?
have you seen Elizabeth?
Not since we parted ways.
If you see Elizabeth, do not let her. Try to detain her.
Okay.
There is more than one, it seems, and we do not wish to harm the wrong one, so we're just gonna try and capture.
So
Admittedly, if you find the right one, she probably won't resist that much.
if
but-
there's two Elizabeths, does the fake one have the same abilities as the real one? Like how
We
how
don't
do you
know
tell
yet.
them apart? That's not.
Telling apart is gonna. Well, the best way I can think of right now is shoving him through the church door because it's.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
oh yeah, that's actually a really good idea.
That is actually a really great idea.
You know what, Grim? That's a good one.
Wow,
That is
Grim
a-
had a good idea.
Wow,
Everybody.
that is your first good
Oh
idea.
my
in-
god.
Wow.
honestly, forever.
That's not
Thanks,
what I
guys.
meant.
Thanks.
That's not what I meant.
Asshole.
I mean, it's not what you meant, but it's still fucking true.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
great ideas.
So
Can't believe.
Sometimes.
Tallithsyr looks like kind of concerned and just sort of turns to Grim and just sort of says, well, if you need to tell him anything, he's just in the back, but you know what, it can wait.
What's wrong?
It's not important. It's
I'll go in the back.
it's just a
and
thought.
You can tell Kelariis.
Yeah.
I'll head off.
Actually, Arya, you're here too, right?
Yeah,
Do you want to go with Grim? I have
I can.
no, and Tallithsyr.
Yeah.
Considering what's going on, I don't know if we should go alone places, even if it is just to another room.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can go with Grim.
All right.
It's okay. So you guys disappear off into the back. Tallithsyr says, maybe we should have a way to tell that people are who that they say they are. I mean, because I know some of us can do magic and maybe discern that, but for those of us that can't, maybe we should have a way to like make sure that we're talking to the right people.
Like a code word?
You're not here.
Oh shit. Sorry.
You left.
You just left the room.
Pops back in for
Whatever.
2 seconds, like a code word, and then leaves again.
I
Anyway.
just poked my head through.
I was going to suggest the same thing, but it's fine.
Yeah, Tallithsyr just sort of says maybe we should have a way of like determining like who we really are.
I think that's a good idea. Maybe when the others who are back, we can work that out together.
Yeah. She has a moment where she just like stops and thinks for a second, and like puts a hand on your breastplate and just goes, "Okay, just testing."
Sorry, what did she say?
She just testing.
Oh.
I mean,
Everybody
I
knows
too
you're
would
really
want to touch the
Kelariis.
muscly chest of a dragonborn.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
Oh my god.
Oh, beautiful.
yeah, she basically like taps the front of your like breastplate as if she's like trying to poke through it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, she probably has a nickname in the same way that I do, right? I mean,
We haven't established one, but
but I know that we haven't. But do you think that she it would be maybe a fair assumption? I guess.
yeah,
I
I
guess
mean,
Phrase that. Would I know what it is? If she does have one.
I just thought you'd be the one to come up with that nickname.
yeah. So I don't want to give her one because she's your character.
I mean,
But I will say for for in-game purposes, you know what the nickname you have for her in Draconic is.
Yeah, I think that's probably not something that comes up super often. But,
No.
You know,
And they'd have to speak your language to know what it was.
Yeah, so I would just say that to her and be like,
Okay.
it's fine, it's me. Kind of just to be reassuring.
Yeah.
It's something that not a lot of people know. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does the same in return.
Yeah. So for us, at least, that's easy. But we'll talk to the others about another way to figure it out for them. And I guess I kind of look at Velt like you said you had something.
Yeah. Seems kind of less urgent now. Yeah, I was doing some research into our dead guy.
Oh yeah.
And I found something a bit odd.
The spooky ghost reminds you you're still in this public space.
You chose to exit the scene.
I did.
Yeah, Velt so says about our dead guy. I found something that's a little strange. So the guy that everyone is saying was involved in his murder, the brother. So there was way back when he was supposedly killed. There's basically the public records indicate all sorts of things like births, deaths, marriages, etc. It's a kind of a useful way to find out things about people that you get the picture.
Right.
Basically, I looked this guy up, and supposedly he was killed during this caravan ambush. And the Smallbrook family have, much in the same way that they have done for Richard, commissioned a memorial in the crypt, for him, family crypt, for him to be entombed. They did the same thing for this Gerald guy. And I've managed to find sort of the records are approving the entombment and the construction, but I can't find it.
Sorry?
So the Smallbrook Memorial, it's it's built on church grounds, so it's... The memorial itself is locked, but the ground is public ground. Locks have a tendency of falling open when I'm around.
I love Velt so much.
Oh my god.
Oh.
They got hit by a smooth criminal.
Smooth criminal.
So I had a look around inside. I can't find it. It's not there.
That's very suspicious.
The plaque or whatever placard is missing, or there's just
Well,
no grave at all.
There's... They've all got individual sarcophagi. Like, big stone things. All with memorials, flowers, you name it. They've paid for Gerald's, but it's not there.
That is extremely odd and concerning.
Yeah. I thought you would know. It was one of those things that just sort of started ringing alarm bells.
Yeah. No, thank you for coming to find me and tell me that. I mean, we were going to attempt to talk to the small brooks when all of this just like wave my hand
Yeah.
a little bit like happened. So maybe Gerald is the brother who
Is the brother who was killed, who was claimed to have been seen talking to him in the cathedral.
right, and Richard is the one who died
Yes.
in the cathedral. Okay.
Richard
sorry.
was supposedly murdered by Gerald, but Gerald's long dead.
But Gerald is long dead, and Gerald doesn't have a memorial in the tomb,
Despite having had it.
despite having had it paid for.
And there's not even like a space there, is what Veltz is saying. Like it's
Yeah.
just nothing. Okay.
Nothing.
That's very concerning.
It is really weird. Wonder if Gerald maybe isn't as dead as we think he is.
Yeah.
That's concern.
So
This
we
is
will
all very concerning.
cutscene to Grim and Arya burst into the housemaster's office, and he sort of like he's in the middle of like handing off a bunch of pieces of paper to somebody else, and he just sort of says, "What's going on?"
This is rather urgent. We should probably step slightly aside.
He signals to the person he's just handed the papers to, and the person whose papers just sort of sidles past you. Come in.
We have recently encountered, recently as in several minutes ago, or well, maybe not too long ago, we encountered a doppelganger, which means basically they duplicated Elizabeth, the blue one.
I'm aware of who Elizabeth is.
Yes, of course. However, this poses a rather big security issue. Considering there's someone walking out there with the ability to, well, copy other people. We were aware of this somewhat before, however, that this was a possibility. However, now we've actually confirmed this to be, real. We do not have great protocols for dealing with doppelgangers yet. However, I would suggest some form of identification that does not rely on, your looks, basically. Needs to be perhaps verbal, perhaps tokens, something along those lines. But till we do that, it's going to be hard or near impossible to guarantee the safety of anyone.
He just sort of, like, his mouth opens and closes for a few moments at this revelation.
Same.
Fucking magic, am I right?
This changes things. I'm not even sure that our security can hold up to.
Like, you have a fairly well, you have some staff that's fairly competent from a magical point of view. I've experienced.
We do.
Like, like the easiest way to do this kind of stuff probably to dispel magic. However, that would be very costly, or well, you can't of course do that on everyone all the time.
Also, if what you're saying is correct and they are a shape changer, I don't think the ability to dispel magic would work.
Well, we're not aware. We're not certain if they do it through magic or through through native shape-shifting ability. That's the only part. That's the part we haven't figured out yet. But for now, especially you want to restrict the access to the to Lady not Orwell.
Awful.
Lady
Awful.
He sort of nods and says, I will make sure that she is kept well secured. Forgive me for asking, but do you trust the rest of your companions?
Yes. The only issue is, we're currently one. There is one that might currently be duplicated, and that is, Elizabeth. Or we're fairly certain there is a duplicate out there. Therefore, we should definitely, unfortunately, we should be included in in restricting our access, because as inconvenient
We
as
don't know.
it is, we can't tell, or if we can't tell who's real, unfortunately. We don't know their requirements yet. We will update you as the situation progresses. But unless there's at least 2 people present from our squad, preferably 3, then it should be fairly safe to trust us.
I understand.
As well.
Thank you for bringing this to my attention.
We will have to move on, as we have one lead as to where they might be heading, and we wish to resolve this as quickly as possible. So unless you need our assistance in executing any of these plans, or need any help, we can leave someone behind, but we kind of need the manpower if possible. Well, we will still leave Visera here.
Yes. In fact, on that note, could you send her in, please?
Of course.
I'm beginning to formulate an idea.
Of course.
Okay.
Well, we'll send her in, and then we'll get going.
Okay. You duck back out. Okay, yeah, you're all stood in the common room. Tallithsyr just sort of turns and says, Kelariis and I might have an idea.
Oh.
Yes.
We need a way to know who each other is without being able to determine it through magic. Kelariis and I have a way, but I don't know. Maybe there's something that only we know about each other that we can use to verify that.
If I recall correctly from was it the maybe I should do an intelligence check, because it wasn't that when V got duplicated, she had the same knowledge and everything, right?
Give me an intelligence check.
Because I think that was what happened. Just straight up intelligence or anything else?
Just give me intelligence.
Holy
Okay, so
Okay.
you recall that the doppelganger that imitated V did not have V's memories. It was capable of imitating V in her speech and mannerisms, but only beyond. But beyond that, it was just the original the doppelganger V that you met had. Was able to hide from you because it stopped and listened and learned from you, and was able to hide in the mirror maze while it observed you. Unless the doppelganger has been exposed to your characteristics for like an extended period of time, it probably can't imitate you fantastically well, but it definitely doesn't have your memories. The other things I will say with a natural 20, you remember that it wasn't capable of imitating your equipment, but it could read thoughts.
Oh yeah, like.
Wait, could not imitate equipment.
It could not imitate equipment. It only had a like it wore it had like V's clothing, but it didn't have any of her like unique gear.
Oh,
Like
right,
Elowen.
because
you doesn't
have Elowen, right?
That's how you told the difference. Yes.
Well,
Okay.
so I guess the best way to do this is
Looking at our swords and stuff.
yes.
Yeah, and
Things that are particularly hard to replicate.
Yeah.
Sarah, you do not have a magical weapon of any kind, do you?
No.
Do we have anything we can give her?
I'm checking real quick if I have
I could give her one of my rings.
because I
that
think
might-
I have. Oh no, I got rid of the one. I thought I had 2 magical maces and I didn't both.
I can give her one of my magic rings.
Well, technically, actually, you did have the 2 magical maces, but as you go through the bag of holding and try to pull out the infernal mace, it has disappeared.
What the fuck?
No,
Dun-dun!
no, we
What
left
the
that in
fuck?
we left that in the vault, in Mardan.
Oh, yes, you did. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, my mistake.
Dun dun.
Wait,
Wait,
Does
what?
that mean it's not in
Sorry,
the vault?
But
I'm
we,
so
we-
concerned. I'm concerned that Rob was just like it disappeared, and
Oh,
no, because
it's
it had that weird property where like if you didn't do some shit with it or something, it just fucked off, right?
Yeah, if you
Okay.
didn't
okay.
use it, if you didn't pay its toll for a certain period of time, it disappeared.
that's fine.
well, I do have one thing. It's not magical, but we have this carving of a wooden scorpion.
Excuse me?
Oh yeah, the little present from Lizard Friend.
Yes, I still have this in my bag. Or yeah, I have this in my backpack even.
Yep.
Um,
You produce a small carved wooden scorpion.
because any gestures or things might be duplicated. Objects might be a little harder. So take this and
Dangerous to go alone.
It's dangerous to go on.
Take this.
Wow.
So, my only thought is, what happens if somebody steals this?
yes.
I mean, we
then-
could also come up with like a code word as a backup.
If I'm around, I know that I have a way of knowing if it's the Syrah, but it's a matter of like if I'm not here, I guess.
Yeah, I think we should come up with some sort of code word just in case.
Yeah, like for everybody. But it has to. It
Safe
should be
word.
something very much like not obvious.
The problem
Well,
is,
yeah.
like when you need to ask someone for the code word, you will automatically think of the code word, thus revealing the code.
Oh right, because excuse me, thought reading.
Yes.
It's like the game.
God damn it.
Well, let's
Thanks,
just.
Ferrous.
Well, I think the best way of doing it is we'll just promise to detain instead of
Murder.
and murder. Yes. perhaps you could even well, you can detect people, right?
Kind of,
If-
yeah.
Because if you can search for a specific person, and if that person is not next to you, it is, well, not the right
Yeah. I mean,
thing.
I can still only do that so many times, and
No, but like that is in case of emergency, and I know that like that's only you that can do that. But I think Arya might be capable as well.
Of what?
Finding
locate.
person.
I think I can. Oh, I just closed my character sheet. Hold on.
But that wouldn't be until tomorrow, perhaps.
Yeah, I can't do that. I can locate an object.
Well, assuming like for now we have, I guess for now we have Kelariis as the backup plan, and we have all our magical artifacts. That should be enough to identify each other. If we lose
I'm
all
trying to
of
remember
our...
if Elizabeth had her stuff on her now. But I guess if she's been kidnapped, they could just take it.
Yeah.
So it is not a full. Well, it's not a. Yeah, it's not an entirely safe plan. But it's
The best plan we got.
gotta have to do for now. Just make sure that if you think something is odd, be sure to mention it, or at least act on it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess we have to move out to the tavern.
Okay.
Oh, and Fasira, the house
Yep.
master wants to see you.
Okay. She disappears off into the back.
Mention the mind reading.
I'll do that.
Wow.
Okay. So you guys sprint off towards the tavern, and we'll take a short break.
Ah!
Well, let's hope we find